My next question is from Gavin. Oh, two questions from Gavin. Can you produce a video showing people the best way to get out of auto mode and start using manual settings? I'm learning to trade with my trusty D40, or learning my trade with the trusty D40 before I invest in a D5200. Well, I have a few videos involving aperture priority, shutter priority, and understanding exposure using manual mode. But, they're nothing compared to the experience that you can gather just by setting your camera in these modes and going out and using it. Use aperture priority to play with depth of field and shutter priority to either freeze motion or create some cool motion blur. So much of how you set your camera depends on what you're shooting. You want to get the experience with all the different modes so that when the time comes to get a great shot, you remember exactly how to set up your camera. And then his second question is, what is your opinion on the limitations of a DX body, like just holiday snaps / family photos, or is it possible to shoot weddings? I think DX bodies work great. I've been using them for years, like my trusty D300S. You can shoot anything you want or need to with DX. The fighting about sensor size that you see online, it's just stupid. Or maybe that's this talking. Chris asks, what are the pros and cons of the Nikon and Canon ecosystems? Does one have more expensive lenses or better low or mid-range glass? Major differences between camera body designs. These days, the only practical difference is the usability and interface decisions. The only way to know which one is right for you is to pick them both up and try them out. I actually shoot both, and I'm just quicker to set everything up with Nikon. But for other people, Canon thinks like they do, so they like that better. The next one is from Andre. Which settings on Nikon cameras affect RAW and which does only affect JPEG? Well, depends on how you look at it. You could say that none of your settings besides shutter speed, aperture, and ISO and any flash settings affect your RAW file because the RAW file is just a dump of the sensor data. For a RAW file, settings are applied by the software you're using to view the file, but aren't changing the file itself. For JPEG, these settings are baked into the file. So all the same settings affect your view of RAW and JPEG files, providing your RAW viewer truly supports your camera. But with RAW, you can change any of those settings after the fact. And my next question is from Sean. Would you ever consider doing a fine art nude portfolio of yourself? Also, would you consider traveling around the States holding courses on starting a business like you did so your fans can meet you and learn a thing or two? Sure, Sean, that's a good idea. Let's just bang that portfolio out right now. No, just kidding. The great thing about YouTube is that I'm in your house right now. Oh, and I wrote a book about how I started my SnapChick business. It's on SnapChick.com as a PDF for purchase, and it's on Amazon as a Kindle download. It's only 99 cents. My next question is from Jerry. How do you get models for free? Jerry, you don't. You have to give them something in return. Maybe some pictures and a nice portfolio book or cash. Cash is always good. Chet says, like to know your workflow and production crew for your videos. Chet, you're pretty much looking at it. Video camera, microphone, MacBook, Final Cut Pro, YouTube. Miguel asks, I've been curious about this strap, and he gave me a link, as I'm always trying to find a way to carry my camera without having it bounce around me all the time. I'm not too keen on camera bags or belt holsters, if that's what you call them, for short outings. This one looks cool, but it seems a teeny weeny expensive. It's 50 euros, a bit more than $50 US, and a good mugging inducer. Have you tried it? Can you try it out and give us your opinion on it? I haven't tried it. I'm usually just using my regular camera strap. When I'm shooting, my camera is, up and in my hands almost constantly. When I'm done shooting, I usually just put it away in my backpack. I do see lots of different types of holster or, bag contraptions. Some of them seem a little bit overdone, but, everyone is different, and I'm sure that plenty of the solutions out there work great. My next question is from Patrick. Patrick says, Hi. You probably already answered this, but are you happy with your printer choice, and what model was it again? Thank you. It's the Canon Pixma Pro 100, and yes, I'm very happy with it. It prints and prints and prints and prints with no problems. I do have a review of it coming in the very near future too. The next question is from Miguel. Help me decide between a D50-100 or a D3200 from Nikon. The D3200 is newer tech, but for flip-out screen DSLRs, my favorite is the Canon Rebel T4i. Bob says, I'm curious about your evolution/timeline into becoming SnapChick. Tell us about your humble beginnings and whether you went into this full-time right away or it was an evolution from a different kind of career background. Also, is this your full-time gig? Are you making a living as SnapChick? You seem to have great drive and knack for marketing yourself. It's all in my ebook, Memberture. It is a few bucks on my site as a PDF and 99 cents on Amazon as a Kindle book. It's a candid blow-by-blow description of how I became SnapChick and how I make my living. The next question is from Colin. Colin says, what's the best compact camera for vacation photos? Don't say Nikon V1. Okay. Next question is from Greg. Ever learn how to twerk? Show us the twerk with no hands if you need to refresh. And he sent me a link to it. But you know what, Greg? I'm just not cool enough to twerk. I'm hardly cool enough to tweet. And anyway, this is how I dance. Okay, the next one's from Gary. What's your go-to lighting setup for studio portraiture? Number, type, modifiers, ratios, etc. 2 to 4 lights and whatever modifiers that I have laying around. I make up my ratios pretty much each time. There is never a solid plan. I go by feel based on the subject and my experience of just endlessly messing with my lights. There is an article actually about it on my site. Go to the index at snapchick.com/index and look for the article near the top called How to Learn Studio Photography. My next question is from Hugh. He says, neutral density filters, how to use them? Okay, think of it this way. A neutral density filter is like shooting in low light in good light. This is how you get those smooth flowing water photos that everyone loves, except me. You get to use long shutter speeds in daylight. They're also helpful if you want to shoot wide apertures in bright conditions, where you can just run out of possible shutter speeds to use with your camera. In short, the filter will let you use slower shutter speeds in bright light. Next question is from Alex. Alex says, how do you calibrate the rangefinder on a Polaroid 330 land camera? It's got me so stumped. Alex, I found a little bit about this online, so some Googling might get you somewhere. I literally have one in my attic. I'm not kidding. It's in a box up there somewhere. It's at least 150 degrees in my attic right now, though, here in Arizona, so I don't know. But send me an email, and I'll send you some of the links that I found. My next question is from Oliver. Thinking about getting a D40 for my 9-year-old granddaughter as a starter camera. Is this a good choice, or do you have other suggestions? Oliver, I think your granddaughter is a very lucky girl. A D40 would be great if she's really wanting to learn photography. If she's not, though, if she's really just wanting something to throw in her backpack and like run around with and take pictures of her friends with, a small point and shoot might be an option for you too. And the next question is from Robert. He says, would you ever run an online course or become a college professor? Well, I'd never say never, but I don't have any current plans to do it. I am considering getting a PhD, which I suppose would open the door for being a professor. My next question is from Knight. Knight says, we'll give it a shot. I'm about to buy my first DSLR for a first ever trip to the US. Used to study photography at school using 35mm SLRs. He says he's showing his age. And I'm wondering, in this day, would you care more about the quality and features of the frame, or is the quality of glass from a manufacturer more important, even with the ability to use adapters to use, say, Nikon glass on a Canon frame? Actually, he said Canon glass on a Nikon frame. I misread it. I'm in favor of higher quality lenses and entry or mid-level bodies. The entry-level bodies are amazing now. Pair those with, the kit lens and a good prime lens or two, and you're set. I actually do have a video where I talk about building a DX setup for recreation. Alejandro says, what do you think about the Nikon D90? It's a great body. Elroy says, what's the best f for shooting passport photos? Well, the goal of a passport photo is just to get sharpness across the frame. So I would suggest starting at f5.6 to f8. Sean asks, I own a D7000 and was wondering what lens is best for landscape. I hear the Tokina 11 to 16 millimeter is great. I've not tried Tokina myself. I don't even shoot with an ultra wide for landscapes. I just don't find the need to, but that's just a matter of personal style. For landscapes on DX, I like to use my 18 to 200 because then I also have the flexibility to zoom in. For lower light landscape situations, the 17 to 55 f2.8 is great too. And that's it. That's all we have for today. Talk to you guys later.